By using thermal printers, you can use different types of paper and settings to create images that look grainy, high contrast, and full of texture. In this video, I'll show you how to create the same thermal printing effect inside Davinci Resolve using only Fusion. This will all work inside the free version of Davinci Resolve. And by the end of this video, your footage will look like it was printed physically using a real thermal printer. But what gives something the thermal print look? On screen now, you'll see a couple characteristics that are common when you thermal print an image. Alright, so now that you know the basics of a thermal printed effect, let's get right into it. Open up the Fusion page on the clip that you want to apply the effect on. For me, I just have a clip right here on my timeline. On the left side of the viewer window, I have an example image that I thermal printed and scanned in using a printer. We'll use this to compare the results from our Fusion effects to the real thing as we create our effect. You should be able to follow along right away as long as you have an updated version of Davinci Resolve, as I will not be using any external plugins, only what ships stock with Resolve. Alright, so first on your node grid, we're going to add a color corrector. So just go up here and grab a color corrector. On this footage to match, I want to add a little bit of gain to make the highlights a little bit brighter because this image is a bit darker. All these effects will need to be tweaked depending on your image, as they may be brighter or darker. So use your own judgment to try to match it the best you can. As I said before, this scene is a little bit dark, so I'm just going to up the gain a little bit. That seems good to me. And add a film grain node. Make sure it's the one with the FGR at the end. Then copy my settings on screen. 0.66 for the size, 0.17 for the strength, and that should be good for now. That adds a little bit more grain to our image. Now here is where we're going to replicate the lines on the left image, as you can see here. To do so, hit shift space and add a scan lines node. Go ahead and change the line frequency to 13, the line sharpness to 0.6, the line angle to 90, and the line width to 0.11. This will give us the vertical lines, as you can see here. And once again, depending on your clip, you may need to play with the different levels and the different angle, and feel free to do so as well. It is completely up to your own creative decisions, but for me, since I'm trying to replicate exactly on the left, this is what I'm going to do. Now, I want to animate the lines moving, because when you thermal print and then scan it inside of a printer, you will see all the textures moving slightly. So I'm going to replicate this by using a modifier. How we can do that is by going to the line shift, and as you can see here, if we move it, it moves the line slightly. So what we can do is right click on the line shift, click modify with, and then select shake. Now if you go to the tab at the top that says modifiers, you will see these settings. This will basically impact how the slider is affected on this page. So I like to just change my seed to something random, click reseed here. I would change the smoothness to around 6.5 and change the minimum to 0.13 and then the maximum to 0.95. And you can play around with all of this as much as you want, but what this will do is allow the clip to have a slight bit of movement in the line width, as you can see here. When we go back and forth in the scrub playhead, add a brightness and contrast node after your scan lines, and simply adjust the high and the low slider here to crush the values. Next, add another color corrector, and here we will decrease the saturation to get a similar black and white look. So pull your saturation slider all the way down, and this part will depend on your clip as well, but just adjust it until it looks right to you. For me, I think around 2.3 would work for the contrast slider, and for gain, I would go about 0.75. There we go. As you can see here, we've crushed our values quite a bit. Now, if I'm looking here, I can see there's a slight tint on the paper. Different types of paper for thermal printing will give you different hue shifts and different results. The paper I use for this print has a slight greenish yellowish tone, so I want to add that back in as well. I will simply add another color corrector node and then move it somewhere between green and yellow until it looks like it matches for me. I don't want to have it too saturated or else it will look fake, so maybe I'll lower the saturation until it looks right to me. 0.45 looks good to me, and as you can see here, there's a little bit of decontrasted area. So I might lower the contrast as well a little bit on this node. I think around 0.84 works well for me. Now add a color curves node. We will use this to replicate the dark and light parts, as you can see here. This black is very crushed. This one still has some detail left in it. And then we have some varying contrasts around the whole image. So on this cursor node, I will make 3 different points, one at the bottom, one near the top, and one in the center. I will raise the black level a little bit just to get a little more gray in the image. And then for the whites, I might lower this just a little bit to brighten it up, but also to soften it, just like that. And now I want to add in our crushed black values. So take the bottom one and drag this down until it looks good to you. For me, that looks about good. And if it turns too gray, mess with the lower black value until you get something that looks good to you. I think that looks good to me. And then I want to blow out the highlights of this white. So select the top point that we made and drag it to the left and up to blow out the highlights, as you can see here. And we can even mess with the middle if you want to make it even brighter, just like that. Now for the final touches, we can make a little animation with our video. Add a camera shake node and mess with the settings here. For me, I found 0.35 works well. For the rotation and randomness, I like to max them out because when you're scanning back in images, you never know how it'll line up, so this helps simulate the variety. Next, turn down the overall strength. I like around 0.2, and for the speed, make sure you just keep it at 0.8. And now to make it look like we scanned in less images and made an animation, add in a stop motion node. But if you want more information, go check out my mixed media video where I go over how this node works. But for this video, I will just keep the frame repeat at 5. Next, add a transform node. To make sure we don't have any black edges on our render, change the size to around 1.1. And now that should be your final effect. If I zoom in the scanned image compared to the real one, I'd say it's pretty hard to tell a difference between which one is the real and the fake one, as you can see here. And there you have it. That's how you make the thermal print effect using Davinci Resolve with no plugins and only stock tools. Physical mixed media is super fun, but I have multiple tutorials now, including this one, that show how to do it all digitally, because sometimes you might not have access to those tools. And I want this to be something accessible for everybody, so you can experiment with your videos and create cool effects. So anyways, guys, if you guys like this video, please drop a like, it would help me out a ton, and drop a comment. If you want to see more videos like this in the future and more editing tutorials and content, please subscribe to the channel. I would love to see you guys again, and I'll be sure to teach much more in the future about different kinds of effects and video related content. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching to the end, and I'll see you guys next time.